y'all.
Howdy.
All right, so we were asked to do a class at the Great Appalachian Homesteading Conference on Homestead Disaster Preparedness. That's a mouthful.
Homestead Disaster Preparedness.
There you go.
Yes.
So we committed. We
did it?
Well, I committed and then told you.
Yeah, Jenna said yes and then told me all about it, so yeah.
But I figured he would be totally game. So anyway,
yeah.
Patera at Appalachian Homestead asked us, and we agreed, and we went to Tennessee and did the conference, and it was wonderful.
It was fun.
Really fun. We enjoyed it, got to meet a lot of wonderful people.
Yes.
We have a video on the conference itself up already, you can see that. But anyway, we went ahead and recorded our class, seminar, presentation, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And
I was very nervous, but it was fun.
we had most of the presentation, and it had to cut because the camera turned off a couple times, you know. So there's a few things missing, but for the most part, it's pretty much all there. And it turned out really good. We had a lot of good feedback, a lot of things that we pointed out because we have actual experience with homestead disaster, with the hurricane and all. A lot of things that people didn't even think about that they learned from us. So
yeah.
We felt like it turned out to be pretty educational. We were nervous, but it went really well and was really well received. So we wanted to share it with you. And also, if anyone out there does any kind of conferences like homesteading or preparedness, whatever, we are available to come and do our seminar. We have our presentation together.
It was kind of fun.
It was fun, and it's something that we feel like is really important. It wasn't something on our radar much before, but after living through it, it's important, and we feel like the information with the feedback we got, it was really pertinent and important information for people.
Yeah.
They learned a lot.
Because you don't feel qualified really to do something like this. So we were like, yeah, we'll do it and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, but like Patera said, she's like, you're more than qualified. You have the experience, and
the feedback we got was very encouraging. I mean, it was all positive. So that made us feel good about it. You know, we thought, okay, people did need to hear this.
People need to hear that. It's a very important message, very important information. So anyway, we hope that you enjoy this, and it will help you to think about some things you haven't thought about before, so that you can be prepared in the case of any kind of surprises and unexpected disasters or whatnot. Hopefully you don't have to deal with that, but it's always better to be prepared for the worst and hope for the best.
Yep. And if y'all have any other ideas or advice, comment it below, because we are certainly not experts.
No.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely.
We're going to be speaking on disaster preparedness. I'm Derek. This is my wife Jenna, and we have a vlog and a vlog, Flip Flop Barnyard. That's the name of it because she wears flip flops 95% of the time. Our kids are here on the front row. At least 6 of them are. Our oldest and our youngest are up at the back. The baby is asleep, and Jack is toting her around. So anyway, Jenna prepared this. And I've been working so much. Honestly, she prepared it. She read it to me while we were driving the other night, getting stuff together for this. So I'm going to let her do most of the talking. If she does as well for y'all as she did for me driving, it's going to be awesome. So I expect she will. But I will interject here and there as I get a thought or whatever. This is the first time we've done this. Neither of us are public speakers. We're used to talking to the camera, which is a little easier than having a group of people, a lot more eyes, So anyway, well, babe, are you ready? All right, I'm gonna drive. So here we go.
All right, our family lived in Florida in the Panhandle. Can you hear me now? Yep. Okay. We lived in the Panhandle of Florida when Hurricane Michael hit in October. As a result, we were displaced and moved to Virginia, which is where we're from, so we just moved back home. But anyway, Patera contacted me to ask me to do a disaster preparedness class because we had had real-life experience with the disaster. So, all right. There are obviously other types of disasters than a hurricane. That's just what we experience. But you can have hurricanes, wildfires, tornadoes, flooding, mudslides, earthquakes, strong winds, all kinds of things. But your preparedness for them is kind of basically going to be similar. A disaster is coming. Am I prepared? That blue dot is our house, or our old house. And that red line was Hurricane Michael's path. It shifted about 20 miles or east.
20 to 50 miles.
Yeah, so it didn't actually come across our road, but it came right through and destroyed our house and the whole entire area. So you need to decide if you're going to evacuate, and if so, you need a plan for that. Are you going to shelter in place, and if so, what is that plan? If you have livestock and animals, because that adds a whole other element of preparation for your homestead, what are you going to do with that? You need a plan for all of that, and an aftermath plan, because the evacuation and preparing is only one part, but afterwards it's a whole other story. Alright, if you should evacuate, you want to consider what type of disaster. If you live 10 miles from the coast and there's a hurricane coming, you probably want to evacuate. If you have an unsafe shelter, if you live in a mobile home, you probably want to evacuate. If you have children and you can't guarantee their safety or their comfort afterwards, you probably want to evacuate. And depending on your animals, whether or not you can take them with you or if you're going to have to leave them, that's something else to consider. And again, the aftermath accessibility. Are you going to be able to get that? For us, usually with a hurricane, you have about a week advance notice. But this hurricane popped up in the Gulf of Mexico. We found out on Sunday that it was there, and Monday we decided we need to leave. Tuesday we left, and then Wednesday it hit. So there wasn't much time to plan for this one. And then we were not able to get back until Sunday, the following Sunday. There was no way to get in because all the power lines were down, trees were down. It was just complete chaos. All right, if you're going to evacuate, where are you going to go? What are you going to take with you? Who's going with you? Do you have shelter for your animals? And do you have an animal sitter? For us, we have 8 kids, so we had to consider where we would go. We were fortunate that about 3 or 4 weeks before the hurricane, some friends gave us a small camper that had had water damage, and we were actually planning a vacation for the same weekend after the hurricane. The vacation got canceled. But anyway, we were renovating the camper. We had pulled out all the water damage, and he was fixing it. It's nothing fancy. It's 20 foot, has a bed and bath, a little bathroom, a little kitchen, and then in the floor we put air mattresses for the kids. There was no furniture or table or anything like that. We didn't know that that was going to be our home for a month following the hurricane. So you need to know where you go. Are you going to have to stay in a hotel? Because that's going to cost money. Do you have money for that? Do you have family somewhere you can go and stay with? What are you going to take with you? Yeah, and make sure you evacuate far enough away from the disaster. You know, if wildfires are coming, you need to make sure you're far enough away from the fire. For us, a lot of people we know went about 100 miles inland from the hurricane, and they were just terrorized by it. They were in a hotel, and they had to hold mattresses against the windows. The roof was blowing off the hotel that they were in and destroyed their cars. It was just 100 miles inland, we were seeing tractor trailers flipped up on top of each other. So it's just things we didn't expect was it to be reaching so far in. So we went and we actually came to Tennessee when we evacuated. We came here. So things you want to really think about is your important documents. First, you get a Social Security card. Afterwards, you know, FEMA is supposed to help. Some people got FEMA help, some people applied and it's a big service and nothing ever happened. But you can't get anything and any kind of help without your documents. If you end up having to relocate, if you have to get a new driver's license, women, if you're married and you don't have your marriage license, they're not going to give you your driver's license until you get that. You have to prove who you are in order to get all that. So that's something really important. Insurance cards, things like that. You need to make sure you have it. For the hurricane, you're able to prepare within a couple days beforehand. If you have something like a fire coming or a tornado, you might want to think about getting like a little fireproof safe, a safe box that you can just grab and go if you have to evacuate in an immediate emergency. Animal documents. Now, when the hurricane came, they waived health certificates for all the surrounding states, because usually you have to have a health certificate proving you have a healthy animal that you're taking with you. They waived those so we were able to get our animals out without any legal issues. But you might want to think about that. Of course, if they have a current Coggins test or anything like that, or if they're purebred, you want to make sure you have their papers with you. If you have important jewelry, and I put that on there because I usually only wear a band, and I left my engagement ring at home and we evacuated. And I'm like, I don't know about that house. Where's my ring? I mean, it's not really in the scheme of life. It's not as big of a deal, but I was a little worried about that. Sentimental items. There were things that were for my grandparents that we wanted to make sure we took, and for the kids, we want to make sure that they had something, their favorite items to do, because we wanted them to have as much normal comfort as they could, because it is a very stressful and scary experience, especially for the kids when they don't completely understand what's going on, and there's a lot of unknowns. Antique collection. I put this. It's a true story. And actually, as a result, because you're in the camper and the temperature changes, my germination rates are really bad. And clothes, you want to change clothes because you don't know if you're how long you're going to be, if you're going to wash clothes, things like that. You definitely want that. Toiletries, and if you're on any kind of medications, you definitely want to take an ample supply, because if you can't get back to your place or your place is destroyed and all of your medication is there, or in this instance, the doctor's offices, a lot of them were permanently closed, and they lost records, the hospitals were closed down, so people couldn't get their records or prescriptions. So that's something you really want to think about, is having all that kind of thing. If you take supplements or anything like that, you want to make sure you take all that with you. I know there's limited space, you just have whatever your vehicle is, or if you have a trailer or something. But you just want to really think through and know ahead of time what to take with you so you can be prepared. The very important things need to be in an easy access, grab and go kind of thing. Alright, if you decide you want to shelter in place, again, type of disaster. If there's a wildfire approaching your house, please don't shelter in place. If you live on the coast and it's a hurricane, you don't want to shelter in place. We have friends that have ridden out Category 3 or so hurricanes, so they all stayed. The hurricane quickly turned to a Category 5. They just upgraded to a Category 5. Instrument broke when they were measuring it just before the winds of a Category 5, and they officially upgraded it. So the town we were in, well, we lived outside town, but in town, the only way out was bridges, and the bridges closed at 40-mile-an-hour winds, so by the time people realized it was going to be as bad as it was, they couldn't leave. So if you live anywhere near the coast, you want to get away, or if you're in the path of a fire, you want to get away. Obviously, if you are in a tornado alley or in a tornado area, you need to have a safe storm shelter. You don't want to be caught off guard by anything like that. And again, the proximity of the disaster. You know, if you are in a safe proximity, then you may want to shelter in place. But if you are at any risk of being directly affected by it, you probably want to evacuate. And the safety of your animals. That's a big one, obviously, for us homesteaders. You have to figure out if your animals are going to be safe or not. And if you have a way to get them out and a place to take them. So, and you want to have your basic needs stocked. You want to have fuel, water, generator, plenty of food, because if power's out, it may not come back on for weeks. You need to prepare beforehand, especially if you're expecting winds, things like that. You want to secure all of your outdoor items so they're not thrown around everywhere. I know for us as a homestead, we have a lot of, I don't want to say junk, but we have a lot of stuff laying around. And so we did the best we could to clean up. When we came home, there was tons of debris everywhere that we had to then go and clean up, because it just was impossible to secure everything beforehand. So you want to clean up debris ahead of hand so that you have less cleanup afterwards. If you need to board up your windows, board the windows. If you have livestock, fill all of your troughs and things with water beforehand for your house. Make sure you have plenty of water on hand. Again, make sure you have plenty of fuel, have your generators ready. With Hurricane Michael, there was no access to fuel for probably a week afterwards, and then when they brought fuel in, it was rationed. and it was nowhere near enough to run generators. Our town, the little area we lived in, was without power for about 3 weeks. We were living in our camper and moving between Florida and Virginia, so we were there part of the time and back. But we had to haul in 100 gallons of fuel back to send a generator. We had to get a generator in Tennessee because you couldn't find generators for miles. Everybody was traveling trying to get generators. Alright, so when you have animals, like I said, that's a whole other level of preparation. You have to decide if you're taking them or leaving them. If you have an entire herd of cows, you're obviously not going to be able to take them all with you. And having a place to take them is a major issue. There were a lot of places inland that opened up for the animals. They actually got affected anyways, but it wasn't as bad as closer to the coast. So you need to make sure if you're going to take them with you, you have somewhere to take them. They're not going to be happy just sitting on the trailer for a few days or a week. You need to make sure if you leave them, they have what they need. They're better to be loose. Don't lock your animals up if you have to leave them, because anything can happen. With the building they're in or the barn, you want to leave them loose. You want to make sure there's plenty of hay and water and your fence is secured. And if somebody is saying, if you have a neighbor saying, somebody that can check in on them. Don't expect to hear from anybody for days. After the hurricane, we didn't hear from anybody for 2 or 3 days. All cell phones are going to be down, all landlines are going to be down, all power is out. There was literally no contacting anybody. We didn't know who had made it and who hadn't. Fortunately, no one died from it, but there were lots of lives lost on the coast. And then you want to make sure that once the disaster is over, if there's no power, you want to have an electric fence option, maybe the electric netting fence or just a polywire and a solar charger. Because if your animals are used to electric fence and they realize it's off, they're going to leave. They're going to be like adios. So you want to make sure that you have a solar option for electric fencing to be able to contain them afterwards. Okay, for animal safety, you want to leave some kind of halter on, or if you have goats, you want to leave collars on. And a lot of people would write their name, address, and phone number, put it inside a baggie, and tape it to a halter or collar. That way, if something happened, animals got loose, somebody could find them and be able to contact you at some point so you can get your animal back. I know a lot of people say, oh, I would never leave my animals, but there are just situations where some people just can't get their animals out. So if you have to leave your animals, then I would say you definitely want to make sure you have some kind of ID on them. We saw people spray painting phone numbers on their animals because they wanted to make sure after the situation that they would be able to get their animals so they could find them. They need to have feed and water accessible. Of course, you have grass, they have that. Leave hay out for them. And if you don't have running water on your property, you want to leave plenty of stock tanks full of water so they have access. And then again, a safe and secure way to keep them in. Like I said, if you have a solar charger or something like that, and electric fencing, that would work. And then the aftermath of the hurricane, what to expect. That was definitely, I think for us, the shocker. You can prepare for it and have the knowledge and have everything together, but until you walk through it, you really don't know what to expect. And of course, it's going to be different for everybody depending on the level of disaster and the type of disaster. This picture here I used because that was our front porch.
All right, as far as what to expect, there's no way to prepare unless you've been through it. I mean, it blew my mind. We were much later getting back than what we had planned. It just took longer driving back from Tennessee to Florida. So we were coming through at like 11 o'clock at night. Total pitch black. No street lights, no house lights. Power lines, literally the power lines laying across the road. You're driving over them for 70 miles, just driving over power lines. The trees were cut off even with the white line on both sides. There was no pulling off the road. It was just 2 lanes, one going in, one coming out, for probably 70 miles from our house. So it was really eerie. You know, it was like, wow, is my house there? 'Cause we didn't know who survived, who didn't. You know, our neighbor stayed, and he had. It said the house didn't look damaged, but Google actually put updated photos of the affected area, so we were able to look, and there we could see from the aerial photos holes in our roof, and then our porch was gone. So I'm not sure what he was seeing, but we were very confused. It was just very, very surreal. It was probably the most surreal thing that I've ever dealt with. Yeah, it was just crazy. So we got through to the town before where we lived, was Hitchcock, and that was in our county, and they had the road blocked at, it was probably 11:30 by then at night, and so they had the police and the reserves had the road blocked, and it just, God worked it out. We pulled up, we knew the deputy, and we go to church with the deputy that was there working it, so we pulled up and we're like, was that Matt? He's like, yes, it's the police. He was glad to see us. We were glad to see him. So they let us through. But if you didn't live there, you could not get in. Port St. Joe was the closest town where we would do our shopping. We couldn't go to town. There was no shopping to be done there. If you didn't live there, you couldn't get there. Which is the way, I mean, they have to protect everybody, the residents. 7 o'clock was the curfew, so we were nervous driving in after 7. But I feel like God protected us, because if the reserves had stopped us, they don't know who we are. You know, they probably don't care that we're coming in from Tennessee, you know, to check on our animals. We would have just had to stay the night in the van and continue our trip in the morning. But yeah, I'm pretty chill and laid back with that. That shook me. So yeah, I can't stress it enough. It's you can't imagine it. So all right.
Another thing that was pretty surprising was the amount of theft and looting. Even in the little town, it was very quiet, very low crime rate. They were having a lot of people just stealing and going and taking things from people's houses that had evacuated. In the major city, Panama City, was pretty messed up, and immediately they were having chaos there. And there were people pulling guns on people for a bottle of water. You couldn't even walk down the road with a bottle of water without risking your life. You hear stories about that, you know, you hear all this stuff, but to actually have it happening within the community near where you live is just mind-blowing. So you have to really think about that. They basically enact martial law because they have to. You know, there's a whole lot of good people out there, but there's also bad people, and they just don't care. So that was something that was really scary and just eye-opening. But now that we talk about the bad things, we can talk about the positive things that came out of this. The community bonding and pulling together, it was just really incredible to see how much people care about each other. Everybody was an equal. When you go, the Samaritan's Purse came in, the Red Cross, a lot of people, and they had food trucks set up because nobody had food. And you're in line waiting for a meal, and you're in line with doctors and lawyers and everybody, you know. No one was better than anybody because everybody was in the exact same position. So it's just really neat to see the community come together and bond really strongly over that. Again, there's been help from all over. The Samaritan's Purse came in, people were sending tractor trailer loads of stuff. And even though we were leaving, they were still giving us stuff. And we're like, well, we want to leave this for the people that are here, that are going to be here. And they're like, we have so much stuff. It's fine. And they load us up with diapers. And we literally just bought the first pack of diapers since October, about a month ago. We haven't had diapers. And they were a good quality brand. They were like, you know, chemical free and all that. So I was like, okay, this is awesome. But just the amount of generosity poured out was really amazing. And then, of course, the ability to rebuild. You know, it's sad and devastating. My parents' house is across from the bay, and it took in several feet of water, so their entire downstairs of their house had to be gutted and renovated. And they had the ability to rebuild, even though it was hard and stressful, and they lost a lot of things, and a lot of people lost everything. Everybody can just rebuild their lives. For us, Derek, he worked for himself, mowing grass, and almost all of the yards that he took care of and maintained were beach houses. And I don't know if you saw Mexico Beach, most of them were on Mexico Beach, and 95% of the structures were completely gone, off the map. And the 5% that were left were uninhabitable. So instantly, we were rendered homeless and jobless. And we're from Virginia. We had only moved to Florida 2.5 years before because we have family down there. And we had been wanting to move back, so we were hoping to make plans to move back by about this time this year. But that happened a lot sooner. When we realized that we were going to have to start over and rebuild our lives, we were like, well, let's just move back home. They can fix the house we live in. Somebody else that's home to them can move in there and live. And if you're going to have to rebuild your business, go back to Virginia and do it. So that's something that we've really faced is, completely starting from scratch. We use all of our reserves to get through the hurricane, and then we have the Pratts. Thanks, guys. They really helped us a lot. They shared our story, and people were sending us monetary gifts, and we were without income for 3 months. And if they hadn't done that, I don't know what we would have done. We really, that carried us through until he could start picking up work. And we're getting there. And the homesteading community is amazing. We're just really blessed to be part of this community, and we don't know where that right? So we wanted to throw in some pictures. This picture is from a town called Bluntstown, and it's how far away from the coast? 70 miles or so? Good. 60 miles from the coast. And this is a building that was just demolished. It's a block building, and it was gone. That's what the forest looked like up there. Just all of it. I forget how many hundreds of thousands of acres, but it was all just completely destroyed. And now, because all that wood is there and it's so moist there, it's just rotting, and there's a lot of mold in there, and a lot of people are having a lot of respiratory issues and allergies from that, and it's no end in sight because it's just going to be there until it finally rots away. This is the road. This is what the roads look like all the way in, just trees and brush, and it's just completely mind-blowing. And then this was, I believe that was a church. And again, that was probably 80 miles inland. Yeah, I think it's about 80 miles inland. It looked like 5 tornadoes came through, which they said the storm threw off tornadoes the whole way through. Just through people's houses, just gone. It was coming through was just so surreal. We were driving through, and you're seeing nothing but utter chaos and destruction around, and we were in and out as we were traveling back and forth. And I told Derek, I said, this is heart-wrenching and very just the heavy feeling being there. I can't imagine how everybody who's having to live here and stay here is feeling, and it still looks much like this. There's not much better at this point. So just the stress and emotional turmoil they're going through still is mind-blowing. They just now have started opening. We're 7 months out, and they're just now opening some stores. A lot of stores permanently closed, but major shopping stores, the mall in the local city is shut down forever. Just all kinds of stuff. The top picture is from the streets of Mexico Beach, and the bottom picture is before and after. That's what it looked like, and that's what it is. Everything is gone. So that's kind of what we went through and our personal experience and advice. This picture kind of goes along with the community coming together. This is taken in a town. Somebody hung that flag from the tree, and it was just really pretty. And just a reminder that we are all in this together. Everybody is equal, and we all need to stick together. When something like this happens, it's hung over the road.
she said, or 40 minutes, I think she said too much coffee. But does anybody have any questions? We may not know the answers, but if we don't, we'll tell you. If we do, we'll answer them.
Where were y'all located before the storm?
And GAHC was our town. We were halfway between Port St. Joe and GAHC. We were in a small community called Howard's Creek. It's probably 10 miles from the coast, 8 to 10 miles from the coast. And it was just a small, most of the homes there were single wide trailers or double wides or campers. It was more of a people who didn't have a whole lot of money but wanted a vacation home. That's where they would buy a piece of land and just put not a lot of full-time residents. So that's where we were. I don't know how familiar you are with Florida. We were about a 45-minute drive from Panama City Beach, or 20 minutes from Port St. Joe, probably 25 minutes from Mexico Beach. So, yes, ma'am. They lived across the street from St. Joseph Bay. Yes, ma'am. Route 98, it was between them and the bay. They're 95% done with their house. Their house wasn't taken down. It did have a couple of feet of water on the main living level, so they had to basically gut the entire downstairs, take down all the sheetrock insulation, all new flooring, just rewire the whole thing due to it.
Like in the last 9 months.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
That's good.
Right. We did. We were under the impression this was a Category 3 storm. Everyone thought that's what it was going to be. Our neighbor, we kept going back and forth whether to take the animals. Our neighbor who's lived there for 20 years, he's been in that area his whole life. He said, hey, don't worry about it, guys. I'm going to be here. I'm not going anywhere. I'll keep an eye on your animals. So, because we had a wedding we had to be at here in Tennessee that Saturday. So this was Tuesday when we were going to have to leave, so we were thinking we want to drive halfway, it's 4 hours away, leave the animals in the trailer until after the storm, bring them back, which in this case would not have worked. We didn't know, we were just praying about it, God, what do you want us to do? We just felt like we were better off to leave them there, because we wouldn't have been able to get back with them. We would have had to just haul them around with us or find somebody who would let us offload them at their farm until we could get back. All the animals were there. They were all fine. That's the thing about livestock. God designed them to endure things like this. They are much better at it than we are. It was like nothing had happened. They were there munching in the field when we got back. They didn't care. So it was no big deal to them, or it didn't seem like it. That was probably one of the hardest decisions we had to make during the storm. We knew we needed to leave for our kids' sake.
When we woke up on Wednesday, that was the day the storm hit, and we saw how bad it was. We both looked at each other. We were just devastated because we had made this decision finally to leave the animals, and we didn't know where to come back to. So that was something. It turned out better that we left them, because if we had taken them, it would have just been chaos and bad, and they were all fine. But a lot of people say, I would never leave my animals, and a lot of people get really passionate about it and aggressive about it. But the truth is, when you're in that situation, you're faced with it, you have to make these hard decisions. Our children's lives and safety was far more important than animals. So we made that decision. But when we woke up, we were just devastated. So when we found out that our animals were okay, it was a huge relief. But that is something that was really hard. We were a little bit inland, so we thought we were fine, and they had somebody watching them, but we couldn't get in contact with them for 2 or 3 days, so we didn't know what was going on. It was pretty stressful.
Our animals, we worked hard for everything that we had, and that was our life. That was what we did. It kind of identified us. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
The guy that stayed behind that took care of your animals, how did he fare with all of that?
this man is nuts. I mean, okay, just a little background. The first time I met him, he's kind of crippled up because he's been dragged out of the boat by alligators, dragged to the bottom of the river. I mean, he used to live a lot rougher life than he does now. He's settled down a whole lot now that he's gotten older and has a son. But he drove through the storm. I texted him at 9 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday and told him, hey, the storm was going to be a category 4. That was what we thought at least. And his response was, no, beat, I'm going back to sleep. I'm like, okay, Jimmy. Everybody down there is Buck. It was Jimmy Buck. Everybody calls him Jimmy Buck. So I was like, wow, okay. So we don't hear anything else from him for several days. I'm thinking, oh man, did he even survive? So we were able to get in contact with him before we drove back. And do you need anything? So he said if he could somehow bring some fuel. So we brought in 100 gallons of fuel, gave him fuel for his generator, and he was telling us that he got up at 11 o'clock that morning and drove through the storm to get to his son. He had a dash cam. He wasn't able to give me the footage to see it yet, but I can only imagine. He had just bought a brand new F-150. I mean, loaded, crew cab, nice, four-wheel drive pickup. It looked like he took a hammer and beat it all the way around. I mean, but once he realized how bad the storm was going to be, and that his 2-year-old son was with his mom, and they had evacuated, he drove to Panama City, which was probably, like I said before, it's normally a 45-minute to an hour drive. I don't know how long it took him to get there, but he was fine. Jimmy Buck was fine. I mean, his house had damage, and he said he sat in the hallway holding his son, rocking him while his son slept in the houses around there. He said, I was just sitting there praying. In the houses around there, his roofs were being ripped off. He showed me pictures of the house they were in, with the houses in the neighborhood around. There was only one standing. It was a complete miracle. So, yeah, that's how he survived. Yeah. Any other questions? Yes, sir. I don't know if y'all could hear him. He said he went through a similar experience in Pensacola with Ivy, you said? Ivan, and 16 years ago. He said there are still houses that haven't been rebuilt by then. So if you're waiting on your insurance company, it might be never. So there you go. Unless you've been through it, it's really hard. I'm not trying to scare people at all. It's hard to comprehend what it's going to be. Yes.
So I guess for the preparation part, the biggest thing is consider your safety, your children's safety, and your animals, and what you're going to take with you. You have to evacuate and think about what if I can't come back right away, or what if we don't have electricity for weeks. There are some places that didn't have electricity for 8 weeks. So, important documents, anything sentimental important to you, the stuff, basic needs, and plenty of food and water. And think about things like if it's, summertime in Florida, we didn't have AC, it was almost 100 degrees in the house. Our house was in the middle of a field with no shade. So there was no way to keep cool in the house. We had the camper, which the AC works, so we were having to go back and forth because you very quickly get heat exhaustion. You get heat stroke, so you think about that kind of thing. If, say, you live somewhere where you have blizzards and you're without power, you have a heat source, a way to keep it warm. Things like that are really important to consider and think about. Do you have a way to cook food? Do you have a lot of non-perishable foods? If you don't have running water, you need to have a water source. In Florida, we didn't have any running water, and the water that was running, around the area is swamps. So you're not going to be drinking that water. You need to consider that and plan ahead and fill plenty of cans with water.
We brought the generator back with us from Tennessee, so we were able to hook it in at the power company said, just pull your meter out. We pulled the meter out, wired the generator in so we could run ceiling fans in the house. We ran our well pump off of it. We were able to wash and dry laundry because we're a large family. We always have dirty laundry and we're trying to pack and get out of there. So we're just trying to get everything done at one time. So we were running the camper with a well pump. Something else I was thinking, how well do you know your neighbors? You know, how are they going to react in a situation like this? I mean, I know you never know, but I was nervous because we did have some rough neighbors, and I was worried that they were going to try to come steal fuel from me at night while I was sleeping in the camper. It's, and so you definitely want to be prepared to protect what's yours in that situation, because we had to make sure we planned to have enough fuel to get in and save enough fuel to get back out to where we could get fuel again, because it was about the gas stations, you couldn't get fuel for about 100 miles, so we didn't plan for that. Yeah, and they were running out of fuel, so even 100 miles out, you weren't guaranteed to be able to get fuel, and they were rationing, so just be prepared to protect what's yours, because you don't want to be robbed and be stuck in a situation, especially if you're near people who are going to try to steal from you. That can turn out really bad. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Think on it a minute, but give us 2 or 3 physical things that you found to be real important to get through this, and 2 or 3 non-physical things.
Okay. Prayer, non-physical. A physical thing was each other. My sidearm is just, I'm being honest with you, I don't know that I would have went back without it. I certainly would not have taken my family back into that without it. Okay, so that's 2 physical things, 1 non-physical. The other physical thing I would say would be housing, shelter, which in our case God had provided the camper, and we just, because we were going to a wedding, we thought we'll take the camper and go stay in it for a week after the wedding in the mountains. Yeah, all the wedding party was from Port St. Joe, so everybody that was at the wedding was in the same boat we were. Nobody knew what to expect. It was the bride's hometown. So, non-physical. Yeah, keeping a good positive attitude and state of mind while you're there getting prayer, and knowing that God has you. He knew this was going to happen for us. He had given us the camper weeks in advance. We were planning to go on a vacation, which is something we don't do. We missed the mountains so bad. So I thought we're gonna take this camper, we're gonna take the kids for a week after the wedding and just go enjoy the mountains for a week and then come back and hit the ground running mowing again. And but God knew we were gonna need that camper to live in for a month. We lived in a 20-foot camper for a month after the storm with 8 kids, but it worked out.
Another non-physical is emotional support of each other. Just everybody being there for each other, because when one person panics and loses it, it really takes everybody down. You have to, especially with having kids, you can't let them see you scared like that. You have to keep morale up. So that's another non-physical, it's just being there for each other. And if you see each other starting to crash, just pulling them aside and giving them a pep talk is really encouraging, because we don't know if your house exists anymore. It's very emotionally traumatizing.
This is kind of maybe an emotional or prognostic kind of question. How many of your friends proved to really be your friend?
Well, the Pratts, they were supportive. The homesteading community really rallied around us, and then we've never met them in person. We haven't actually met. It's just through YouTube, you know, and on Facebook. So it was people that we didn't actually physically know were the ones that came in and rallied around us. Another family that we actually lived in the same town for years, we've never met them. They own a company called Seeds for Generations. They sent out an email to their subscribers, and they also, that was a lot of help. And then we have some dear friends in Virginia, and they let us park our camper on their property, and they've been there. They actually drove 2 trucks to Florida to help us get back to haul, because we had a utility trailer, a box trailer, a livestock trailer, and a camper. So we had to get all of those stuff back, and we had a household of 10 people's belongings. Our belongings survived, which is a good thing. So we had all these belongings to get back, and then we had the animals, and then we had all the livestock stuff, and then we had all of his mowing equipment and tools and things like that. So they came and helped us. Another family you've known, I believe, they let us bring our animals to their farm and leave them there in Virginia for as long as we needed to. So that was just a few people, and then another friend was bringing us meals. Cooking for us, and then there was other people that we didn't know. That was the thing that really blew our mind. It was friends of our friends who cooked us meals and brought us meals. There are a lot of people that were well-wishers, were thinking of us and things like that, but they were not physically supporting. You know, they weren't.
One of the hardest things for me, I'm not a super prideful person, but I don't ask people for anything. We've moved several times, and I do it by myself. I don't like asking people for help. But in this situation, people were saying, what can we do for you? What do you need? And the hardest thing for me was to go on video and say, guys, honestly, we're out of money. We don't have a dime to our name at this point. We're tapped out. If you want to help us, we need funds, honestly. And that was the hardest thing for me, because I don't like asking for help. It's certainly not money. I don't ask for money. But that's where we were at the moment, and people wanted to help. And they did. I mean, people came through. Most of our friends proved to be friends. Yes, it was a blessing. I think we're out of time, I believe. Yes, there is. Any more quick questions we can answer real quick?
I just wanted to ask, knowing what you know now, is there things you would have done different? Or, you know, if something like this were approaching you again?
Yeah, that's a hard question. I mean, I really can't think for us how it could have turned out any better. Yeah, I mean, in an ideal, perfect world, we would have had more money saved up. But,
It always helps.
most people can't prepare for that. I mean,
Right.
that wasn't even an option for us. So, because it costs a lot to do, when everything is gone and you've got to live